Okay, so today we are going to start the chapter number 3, and this is about the agriculture and the environment. And this is quite easy, and you'll find it interesting also. So we will start with the agriculture and environment. So first of all, whenever you are talking about agriculture, what does it mean, agriculture? Agriculture means it related to growing crops. You can say also farming. Okay, so you'll cover agriculture, all these things. So first of all, whenever we are talking about agriculture, so we need the soil to grow the things. So here we are going to define the soil by different ways. In some places, soil is can say defined as it is the top layer of the earth. For example, if it's your earth, this is the top layer, that's known as soil. And sometimes they're saying it is the, like sometimes you also say it is dirt. Dirt means that has dust and it has sand particle and other things, and its color will be different in different places, but the main composition almost same depending on the different type of the soil. So let's begin our class today with the topic the soil. Now they're saying the soil is the top layer of the earth's surface. You might call it dirt. Now the soil is the fundamental to growth of the plant. It means that the main thing whenever you want to grow the plants, you need the soil. So now we'll talk about the soil composition. Soil composition means it is made of what? If you see the soil, we say soil is a mixture of what? Organic matter, minerals, gases, liquids, and organisms that together support the life. In the soil, you will find organic matter, you'll find minerals, you'll find gases. Gases can be air, you can find the nitrogen also there. In liquids can be water, and organisms, it can be microorganisms, bacteria, viruses, and other things. So soil is a mixture of all these things. Now talk about the mineral particle. Which mineral particles are there? You can say that if you remember, we talk about the minerals and the rocks, and we saw that the rock fragments, the small pieces of the rocks, different type of rocks. It can be marble, it can be granite, it can be other things. So they are mineral particles. So in the soil, you will find these type of things when you examine the soil. So whenever you're talking about the composition of the soil, it means that soil is made of what? So if in the exam they will ask a short question, so you can write soil is a combination of, soil is a mixture of organic matter, mineral, gases, liquid, organisms that support the life together. Or instead of organisms, you can say microorganisms also. Okay, after that, you can see here they have inside the soil, you can find the sand is there. When you're talking about mineral particle, you'll find silt is there, you find clay is there. It is just like a small introduction I am giving to you, that sand can be there, silt can be there, clay will be there. When you're talking about, I wrote their particle size, this one. So it is just like to tell you that how smaller they are. If it is 0.05 millimeter, it is really small. So it means that maybe when you have a soil in your hand, you cannot feel all these particles one by one. But if you will observe it under a microscope, then you can find all these sand, silt, and clay there. Okay, then we use another word, organic content. Organic content means the mixture of living plants, animals, microorganisms, and their dead remain. For example, the plants, some of the plants, when they die, they mix with the soil. Some of the animals can be bigger ones, animals can be the microorganism. When they die, they also mix with the soil. And there is also microorganisms, and sometimes they are alive. Alive means you'd find some insect in the soil. Sometimes they are alive and sometimes they are dead. Dead remains means like a dead parts. So organic content, what do you mean by organic content? That is the meaning of this one. Again, what I'm telling you that soil is a mixture of organic matter. It's mixture of minerals. So we just discussed minerals here. And now in the next page, we are discussing organic matter. What organic matter are present inside the soil? Okay, when we're talking about the air is there, mean gases. One of the parts we said gases. You know that if you see the microscopic view of the soil, you will find the small spaces between the soil particles. And you can find this is the water present inside the soil, and these pores, for example this one, they are what? The air particles. Again water, these blue one, you can see these blue parts, they are the water areas, mean water particles. And these brown colors, they are the soil particles, and these white places, they are air particles. So they want to say here that the inside the soil you will find water is there. Water means liquid, and gas is there, gas is air there, and sometimes also nitrogen is there. So they are also present inside the soil. So till now we have discussed that in the soil what you have minerals. In the minerals, what we said, we have silt, we have clay. Okay, then we said we have organic content. What is that? Animals, plants, some microorganisms. Then we said that liquids, in liquids you will find water. And then we said gases, in gases it can be air, it can be nitrogen. So here we are just discussing the things which are present inside the soil. Okay, water is also there. You can see if you will make a microscopic view of a water under the roots, so you can find like this. So here again, this air particle, they are water particles. So they are these, if you see, these roots are inside the soil. And in the soil, you'll find all these particles there. And they're saying the water is held within the pores. Pores means small spaces inside the soil particles. Now they're saying that if you want to take a percentage, for example, you say that composition of the soil with the percentage. So they said that the air is 25% in the soil, the water is 25%, minerals, they are 45%, and other remaining 5% is organic matter. And in that organic matter, if you go further detail of the 5%, so most of the part is humus, and other is roots, and the same is organisms. We'll see what is humus. Till here, any confusion? Anyone?
No.
Okay. Now we talk about the humus. What is humus? Humus, they saying it's a dark organic material. It is a dark organic material that forms in soil when plants and animals matter decay. For example, you have a normal soil. Let's say this is the normal soil. And in normal soil, if the plants or you have some animals, they die and they decay there. Decay means decompose. So then at that part, the soil become little bit dark color, and the why? Because it has some remains of plants and animal. So at that time, it's known as humus. Humus means it is, if you see the fertilizer wise, it's really rich with nutrients and good for the crops. Okay, now you can divide the soil into different types. Okay, in some books you will find 5 types, some 4 types, some 7 types. But according to your syllabus, I try to cover whatever mentioned in your syllabus. I try to cover, and maybe 1 or 2 extra. So no need to worry about that one. But in the exam, they will not ask that all these details, that what is this, what is this. No, they will ask the types, but the types you should know that what does it mean. If they're talking about this type, what does it mean? For example, first of all, they have sandy soil. From the sandy soil, from the name you can see, so some first thing comes to your mind, sand. So sandy soil is light, warm, dry, and tends to be acidic and low in nutrients. So first of all, if you want to categorize sandy, first of all, it is acidic, then it is dry, it is hot, and after that it is low in nutrients. It means nutrients are very low. It shows that if you want to cultivate some crop, due to the deficiency of nutrients, maybe you will not get the good crop. Sandy soil are often known as light soil due to their high proportion of sand. So if you see inside the sand in a large quantity, okay, and the clay is little, means you can say little clay as compared to the sand. Now, these soils have quick water drainage and are easy to work with them. If the soil is sandy, sandy means that this looks like a sand, so slowly you will find quickly all the water will go inside that one. And if you want to plow it, and if you want to dig it, you want to cultivate it, it's easy because it's quite soft. And okay, they are quicker to warm up in spring than clay soil. So in the spring they become warm quickly and tend to dry in the summer and suffer from low nutrients that are washed away by the rain. So here for you, all these are just details for you. What you have to remember, the points: acidic, less nutrients, easy to work, okay, and water will drainage, water will go through them very easily. So like this, you have to remember some details. When the question will come, you will understand which information you need, but you have to go through everything, this one, because in the exam they will not ask the right definition of sandy soil. They will ask some question related to that one. Maybe they can ask that in sandy soil which proportion is more, sand or clay. So you say sand. So they say they are acidic or basic, you can say they are acidic. Like this type of question will come. But if you see the past paper, you will not find much question regarding this soil, but still it's important. Clay soil, you can see the main color difference between them. In the clay soil, they're saying it's heavy soil as compared to the sandy soil, and it benefits from high nutrients. It has high nutrients. Clay soil remain wet and cold in winter and dry out in summer. So it is colder than the sandy soil. These soils are made over 25% clay. 25% clay, and because of the spaces found between the clay particle, the clay solid holds the high amount of water. So because they have spaces between the particles, so they will hold lot of amount of water. Because this soil drains slowly, if the water comes inside this soil, it will go out very slowly and take longer time to warm up. Because if you want to heat, not you, mean the sun, if sun want to heat this soil, so it will take longer time because there is a lot of water inside. As compared to sandy soil, there is less water, more sand, so you will find that they will warm very quickly. So this is the main difference between them. After that, the silt soil. You know, the silt is a type of, you can say, mineral. Silt soil is a light and moisture. Okay. And if you see that the particle size, they are medium sized particle, and it also hold the water. And by adding organic matter, the silt particle can be found into more stable clumps. Clumps mean just like some big pieces. After that, you have the peat soil. Peat soil is high in organic matter. Large amount of moisture. So if you remember only this part, it's enough for you. The peat soil is a high in organic matter and retains a large amount of moisture. This type of soil is very rarely found in the garden and often imported. You know, sometimes they are importing, sometimes you are buying some type of the soil from the market. So one of them is the peat soil. Then you have the chalk soil. Chalk soil can be either light or heavy, but always high alkane, because chalk, you know that calcium carbonate, it's mainly calcium carbonate. Okay, and when it's mixed with water, it will make calcium hydroxide. And this is alkaline in nature. If you see the pH of this one, it is more than 7. So they're saying that from the name, you can say calcium carbonate, and it is highly alkaline due to the calcium carbonate. As these soils are alkaline, they will not support the growth of the plants, ericaceous plants that require acidic soil to grow. So these are the plants which needs the acidic soil. These are special type of plants which needs the acidic soil, but these plants cannot grow in the alkaline soil. So this is just like information for you. No need to remember these type of plants. So here you have to that chalk soil. You have to remember only that it is highly alkaline due to calcium carbonate, and even it will not grow the some plants which need acidic soil. After that, loam soil. Loam soil means soil is a mixture of sand, silt, clay, all together. Loam soil is a mixture of sand, silt, clay, all together, and combined to avoid the negative effect of each type. So here they are mixed together. So maybe you can say that this type of soil you have to make it by your own, and sometimes they are making it by mixing all these things. These soils are fertile, easy to work, provide good drainage. Drainage means the water, the passage of water. Water can pass through them easily. So depending on their predominant composition, they can be either sandy or clay loam. So Sometimes you can find that the sandy loam or the clay loam, you can say this one also, instead of only loam soil, because it is mixed with the sand and clay. So you can say sandy loam or clay loam. So these are types of the soil. So you have to, first of all, you have to remember their names. Sandy soil, which has a sand, large amount of a sand, it is dry, and the drainage of water is very quickly work to, it's softer, so you can work easily. The clay soil, it is heavy as compared to the sandy soil, and if you see the percentage of the clay, it is about 25%. It holds a lot of amount of water inside it. After that, you have silt soil. Silt means it has like a mineral, it has a large amount of silt inside this one. And after that, you have a peat soil. Peat soil, we said that in you have a large, you can say, amount of organic matter. Organic matter means plants, animals, like this. It has dead plants, animals, and it is mostly used in gardens for better planting. The chalk soil, as from the name we said that calcium carbonate, it is highly alkaline, and sometimes the plants which need acidic soil, they will not grow this one. After that, loam soil. Loam soil is a mixture of sand, silt, and clay, and all they are mixed together. So due to that, it's become more fertile as compared to other one. Is it okay? Any confusion?
No.
Okay. Now they're saying that where do the soil components come from? Okay, from where these minerals, these you can say organic compound, from where they come? So we will see that if you talk about mineral particles, so mineral particles, they are come from due to weathering. So here you have to be little bit conscious about these two things. There are two words are used, you will find more and more. Number one is weathering, and other is erosion. These two words. Now there's a slight difference between them. Now weathering means that the mineral particles, mean the, you can say, the rocks, they will, you can say, break down into small pieces due to weather conditions, due to water conditions, or due to heat, whatever. So they will break down into small pieces. That is known as weathering. Known as weathering. But if, for example, this is a particle here, with air, with water, when they move from one place to another, you can see in this diagram, they are moving from one place to another. So the movement process of these small particles, that's known as erosion. Once again, weathering means the breakdown of the rocks into smaller pieces, and erosion means these small particles, they move from one place to another with the help of water. They can move with the help of air, so, and with the help of snow, and sometimes some, you can say, other flood and other things, they brought them here. So this is known as erosion. So all of you know the difference between the weathering and erosion. Any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay. Once again, here you can say weathering causes the rocks to be break down. Erosion and transport move the sediments downhill from another place. It's not only hills, even if it's a flat surface, with the water, they move from one place to another. So that is the main difference between weathering and erosion. Okay. Now they're saying that weathering, there are different type of the weathering. Number one, physical weathering. Physical weathering. So if you see the physical, it is caused by frost. Frost mean, anyone can tell me what mean of frost? Frost mean freezing. And or you can say cold. Heat, water, and or ice or wind. If the rock is break down due to cold or freezing something, heat, water, due to ice or wind, so this is known as physical weathering. Physical weathering. See here, in the first diagram, you can say there is a small amount of water is here. Now, due to this small amount of water, they start to break down. And water will come more down. And again, the water will break them. Can anyone explain how the water can break them? Any one of you? Any things come to your mind? Okay. Now, being a physics student, tell me, water has
When it's freezing?
its maximum density. At which temperature water has its maximum density? No, 4 degrees Celsius. Now, see, let's suppose you have a water particles. This is the water. Water, let's say at 70 degrees Celsius. When you cool down, when you cool the water down, its volume will decrease because particles are coming closer to each other. You are converting them from liquid to solid, so it will decrease. Let's say it is at 20, it will decrease. When it will reach at 4 degrees Celsius, when it will reach at 4 degrees Celsius, suddenly the water will expand. Suddenly the water will expand. And maybe the water, for example, this is the real level of the water. Maybe at 4 degree, you'll find water will come till here. When water reaches at 4 degrees Celsius, the elements or the atom or the molecule, they rearrange themselves and they move away from each other. So this is known as unusual expansion of water. In physics, when you will talk about the expansion and contraction, you will find that one there. So normally you saw that whenever, for example, any the cold drinks you have, which are, you can say, glass bottle, so companies never fill them up to the top. Always you'll find up to this limit or this limit. Why? They know that when you put them in freezer, when the water or the liquid will go to 4 degrees Celsius, they will expand. So they will leave this space for the expansion. Even in the cold countries, they are making the bend in the pipes like this, where the water become ice in the pipe, so they leave this space for expansion. So that's known as unusual expansion of water. So when water comes here and it freezes, it expands. When it expands, at that time it apply a force on both sides and it will make a crack. In the crack, again more water comes down, again it freezes, again it will push them, and finally they will break down. So this is known as physical weathering. So the breakdown of the rocks due to frost, cold, water, heat, ice, or wind, that is known as physical weathering. You can see here, this is a real diagram. If you go to a hill area, you can find the rocks, they are broken like this. It's due to the physical weathering. After that, you have chemical weathering. Chemical weathering means some chemical, they are responsible for breaking down of the rocks. You can see the holes here like this. Mostly they are formed due to the acid rain. As a chemistry student, you know what is acid rain. When some gases like sulfur dioxide or the nitrogen oxide, they go to the air, they mix with water, they are converted into acid, and when they come down, so the rainwater become acidic, and when it falls on the metal structures or the you can say the stone structures like this, so they will start to, you can say, erode, or you can say break down. So this is a type of chemical weathering. This is another, see, this type of, when you find this type of breakdown of a rock, so you will say this is a chemical weathering. And types of chemical weathering, again, maybe the rocks you'll find like this, the small holes, so just like a cartoon, I just added it as a diagram. So if you want to ignore, you can ignore it. Okay, the third one is biological weathering. Biological means due to plants and animals. Due to some plants and animals, so the rock this broken down. You can see the small insect is here. Sometimes the small insects, they also break down the, you can say, rocks. That's also known as weathering. And sometimes you will find the some trees, they can also do the weathering. I'll show you that one also, how they can. Now they are saying that the soil particles, they can be classified into three main groups. So I think this page is added, it should be with the soil, but no problem, you can have a look here. Sand particles. Sand particle size is from 2 millimeter to 0.02 millimeter. And silt is this millimeter, and it is less than 0.02 millimeter. It is just like their size. So just keep in your mind this size. Their texture is gritty and silky or soapy, sticky on when wet. Like this, their characteristics: large pores, size, drains well, contains air particles inside them. They're talking about sand. So thus you have to go through these. This is same like we have discussed now soil types. Now it is less than 1 minute. So when I will join the meeting again, then I can explain again this one. So here sometime they will just like a comparison. In sand, you can say they have a large pore size, mean the hole between the particles, more space, more water moves them very quickly, and contains large air spaces. The silt, they are silky, they are friction, less friction as compared to the sand. So they are just like the three types of the soil particles according to their size only.